Hello, I'm Scott Lesowitz, aka Phil from Wings of Pegasus' lawyer friend, and I'm going to discuss in this video this problem of these apparent scammers who are successfully loading cover versions of famous songs and successfully claiming that they own the actual song as opposed to just their particular recording of the song. Now, I'm going to discuss my thoughts on the problem. I'm also going to talk about some experiments that I did that I think helped me at least understand the problem a bit better. So as a very quick background, Phil recently released his very excellent video. This is the biggest musical fraud I've ever seen. And there, Phil discussed his investigation that he did about this problem where people are uploading cover versions or obscure live versions of famous songs onto the YouTube Content ID system, and then they'll lip sync along in front of a green screen and pretend that they perform them on a Got Talent show or X Factor. And at the end of his video, Phil gave me a shout out. So I want to thank Phil. Phil's just been great. Now, Phil's legal analysis was solid. I don't really have much to add about it. I agree that there's really no way that these videos of people lip syncing and pretending that they're on a Got Talent show, that's fair use. It's not fair use. And also, even if these people do give proper credit to everybody whose copyrighted material they use, that does not matter. So before getting into my little investigation, one thing that struck me about this apparent problem with the scammers is that both YouTube and the big three record companies and their publishing arms have a really strong financial incentive to stop the scammers. And one would think that they would have figured this out by now. Paul Davids made a video about a year ago detailing this problem, and YouTube needs to keep the big three record companies happy. Their relationships with them are very important. They really need to make sure that the big three record companies are comfortable with allowing their material to be used on YouTube. That led me to wonder how much of this problem is that the Content ID system is just not very good at properly identifying cover songs. So I was curious to see what would happen if I uploaded cover versions of the songs from Phil's video that were targeted by apparent scammers. So while my experiment was admittedly unscientific, it points me in the direction of thinking that the Content ID system has problems properly identifying cover songs. So for three of the songs, which were Thank You for Loving Me, Unchained Melody, and Always, my thought was to upload a cover version of each song that was me singing over an MIDI rendition of the song, as well as a good cover version that I downloaded off of YouTube. And for my MIDI versions, I had a hard time getting the Content ID system to recognize them as covers. I had to give up for Always. I tried 3 times and I just couldn't get it to recognize it as a cover. I did get it to recognize the other two, and it did put in claims for the legitimate copyright owners. And while my singing is admittedly horrible, I figured that the Content ID system would have a pretty easy time recognizing them, because while my singing is horrible, I was saying the words correctly, and YouTube is pretty darn good at speech recognition. I also then did that same MIDI test with Hotel California, knowing that the Eagles are, vigilant, hyper-vigilant blockers. The YouTube did not recognize it as a cover. So as for the covers I downloaded from YouTube, I wound up uploading 9 different cover songs onto my channel. Now, I should add here that I was uploading these to my original YouTube channel, which is monetized. For 3 of the covers, the Content ID system correctly identified them and put in claims for the legitimate copyright holders. For 2 of the covers, even though these were nice, renditions and not me butchering the songs, the Content ID system did not recognize them as being covers, and if I had not deleted them immediately, I would have been the one to earn the ad revenue. And for the 4 other covers I uploaded, the Content ID system only put in claims on behalf of the person who made the cover that I used. So that makes me feel like they probably were scammers themselves, but I'm not sure. It is possible that when they uploaded their covers into the Content ID system, that they only claim the rights to their particular recordings, but not to the songs themselves, not to the musical compositions, and that would be proper. But either way, since no claim was placed for the songwriters, it means that the Content ID system had not properly identified the cover, that those 4 songs were cover versions when the people who made those covers uploaded them. Or it meant they didn't check, which would be, a big problem also. I assume it does that. Now, I assume the technology required to properly identify cover songs is challenging. And, look, modern technology is incredible. But that said, to me, this means that probably more manual efforts need to be made to make sure scammers are not running rampant on YouTube. And also, maybe YouTube needs to modify how it's using the Content ID system until its technology improves. But that's really getting beyond the scope of my expertise. All right, so what to do if someone's video is claimed by a scammer? If a scammer puts a Content ID claim on someone's video improperly. So I'll put it this way. Personally, if a scammer tried to claim one of my videos, I personally would not be afraid to fight back all the way. This is not fighting back against some big record company with tons of money and a dedicated legal staff. And then if they wanted to keep fighting me, they'd have to keep my video down, they'd have to sue me. And I'm not worried that some scammer is going to sue me for copyright infringement. They're not going to go in my opinion, my thought, they're not going to go into court. So anyway, thank you for your patience in watching this all the way through. Take care. It's a lot for one video.